Hi everyone, today is lesson 2 of our series for beginners Spanish. And the first thing we are going to start today is we are going to the tabla de contenidos, which is our content for this class. And we have 4 things, 4 cosas. Diferencias fonéticas, contracciones verbales, cognates y signos de interrogación. Diferencias fonéticas. It is what interferes with pronunciation, reading, or spelling in Spanish. Contracciones verbales. English typically uses contraction in speech and informal written text. Cognates. Many English words and Spanish words have Latin or Greek roots and the meaning is the same. Signos de interrogación. Question marks and exclamation marks are double. Habitualidad. Indeed, you can learn a language without knowing the words that make up for it, but accumulating a vast vocabulary shouldn't be your aim, meaning it is important to actually learn phrases that are going to help you get by within the language. Encontrando semejanzas. There are numerous similarities between English and Spanish. They both share the same alphabet, except for a few cases. Except for a couple of word order exceptions, adjective before a noun in English and noun before an adjective in Spanish, sentences in both languages have the same basic structure. Equal essential components participate in learning to read in both languages, such as phonemic realization, phonetics, eloquence, comprehension, and vocabulary. Knowing these basic connections within the two languages saves guessing, time, and effort. Phonetic differences. The Spanish language has only 5 vowel sounds, while English has more than 14. These are the vowels of Spanish: a,
E,
I,
O,
U, U,
O,
I,
E,
A. The pronunciation is exactly how you see it in your screen. Let's go with the first question. What consonant the English language doesn't have but exists in the Spanish language? Pista or hint. The sound will be represented in English by 2 letters, the N and the Y. Si retira la primera carta, podrá leer la respuesta correcta. Any idea?
Ñ,
What is that?
Ñ,
What is that again?
Ñ.
Let's see. Perfect. The correct answer is ñ. So ñ is the only consonant the English language doesn't have but exists in the Spanish language. And the sound of the ñ is similar to the combination of the letters N and Y in English. Ahora adivinemos la palabra en inglés. Now let's guess the word in English. At the present time or moment, what that means?
Now.
Are you saying that now es ahora?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So ahora is?
Now.
Oh, I see. So let's change it. So what is the name of this first letter in Spanish?
N.
What about the second letter?
O.
What about the third letter?
W.
So what is the name of this letter again?
W.
¿Y esta?
O.
¿Y esta?
N.
¿Cómo dice?
Now.
And what is now for?
Ahora.
And what is the meaning of ahora?
At the present time or moment.
Good job. Spanish contractions. When using contractions such as al and del, it must be in a proper context. Al is a contraction of the Spanish word a and el, and it is the equivalent for at the or to the. Del is a contraction of the two words de and el. It can be compared with from the and to the. Let's see an example. So, a la derecha, al.
Voy al estadio.
I'm going to the stadium.
El libro está traducido al español.
This book is translated to Spanish. Ahora, inglés a español.
This book is translated to Spanish.
El libro está traducido al español.
I'm going to the stadium.
Voy al estadio. A la izquierda, to the left, del.
Palabra del día.
Word of the day.
Jorge es el empleado del mes.
George is the employee of the month. De inglés a español.
George is the employee of the month.
Jorge es el empleado del mes.
Word of the day.
Palabra del día. Y las contracciones son
Del y al.
Y estos son los ejemplos. These are the examples. Falso o verdadero. Falso o verdadero.
True or false.
The Spanish language has the following contractions. Don't.
Falso.
False. Isn't.
Falso.
Weren't.
Falso.
So what is falso stands for?
False.
So falso is false in English?
Yes.
What about this? The Spanish language has only two contractions.
Verdadero.
So do you mean is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So the only true answer here is the Spanish language has only two contractions. What are those two contractions?
Del y al.
Those are the only two contractions that the Spanish language has, as opposed to the ones that the English language has. So we only have two contractions in Spanish, del and al. Now, what is the Spanish word for with you? Pronunciation hint. Con usted. So, what is the word for with you?
Con usted.
What is another way to say with you in Spanish?
Contigo.
Very good. So you have how many ways to say with you in Spanish?
2.
And those ways are which ones?
Con usted y contigo.
Do you know what is the formal and do you know what is the informal?
No.
So the informal is contigo and the formal is con usted. So that is the difference. Contigo is informal, con usted is formal. Can you use this in a sentence in Spanish? Just give me your best guess.
Voy contigo.
Adivina qué. Guess what? What consonant is always silent in Spanish? Here is a hint. Pista. It is the near to the end of alcohol. It is near of the end of the word alcohol. And you have the pronunciation right here of alcohol, and the consonant is by the end of the alcohol word. If you remove the card, you will be able to see the right answer. Si retira la primera carta, va a poder leer la respuesta correcta. Give me your best guess.
H.
What is that?
H.
Let's see. Is la H. So what is la H in here? Right here. But something you will notice when you use this consonant in the Spanish language is a mute sound, so you won't notice that the consonant is right there. If you are an English speaker, you will say alcohol, but if you are, such as my case, Spanish speaker, I will say alcohol. I won't say alcohol, I will say alcohol. English,
Alcohol.
Spanish, alcohol. Spanish, alcohol.
English, alcohol.
¿A que no sabías que? I bet you didn't know this. In Spanish, there are two ways to say I want to see him or see her. And here's a hint, or pista. Both versions are common use. Give me your best guess. Another thing, the second way is much simpler when you start to learn Spanish, as you can use it almost instantly. So, can you tell me what are those two ways to say I want to see her or him?
Él or ella.
Lo, la, quiero ver. O, quiero verlo, quiero verla. If you translate the first option, it will be the equivalent for him, her, I want to see. The second, as is more simpler, will be I want to see him or I want to see her. The only thing that you will change is the vowel. Verlo, notice how the vowel is O. For ella or she, it will be A. So what are the two ways again?
Lo y la.
Lo quiero ver.
La quiero ver.
Quiero verlo.
Quiero verla.
Those are the two ways that you can see or say I want to see him or I want to see her. Very good. Cognates. The Spanish language uses many English words and vice versa, English uses many Spanish words. Let's comparemos. By knowing a few simple cognates rules, you can learn Spanish and expand your vocabulary with agility. So we have a list of words right here in Español, and we have another list of words here in English. I'm gonna say the words in Spanish, but you can say the words in English. family,
familia,
radio,
radio,
clase,
class,
magia,
magic,
gorila,
gorilla,
estable,
stable,
tradicional,
traditional,
vacante,
vacant,
participar,
participate,
de atrás hacia adelante, participate,
participar,
vacant,
vacante,
traditional,
tradicional,
stable,
estable,
gorilla,
gorila,
magic,
magia,
class,
clase,
radio,
radio,
family.
familia.
Very good. So if you notice, even the way that is pronounced and written is very, very similar. So here are some exercises, ejercicios. Participación. It is the way that will be using the ending of each word to translate into Spanish. So everything that is ends in T, I, O, N, we are gonna change it to C, I, O, N, which is the version Spanish, English. So give me your best guess for participation.
Participación,
Yes, that's correct. Where is the strong sound on?
the O,
Why?
because it has a
Accent?
yes.
Okay. So thank you for that. Let's go with the next option. Multiplication.
Multiplicación,
What about ventilation?
ventilación,
What about decoration?
decoración,
What about simplificación? How you say that in English?
simplification,
What about segregation?
segregación,
Yep, that's correct. What about motivation?
motivación,
What about interrogation?
interrogación,
Can you try to use one of the words in a sentence? We're gonna type it in Spanish. La decoración de mi casa es muy bonita. Can you please say it in English?
the decoration
Yeah,
of my house
of my house.
is very pretty.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You have been very helpful. Let's go to the next slide. Now we have the question marks and exclamation marks. Spanish is the only language in which the question marks and exclamation marks are double. Aprendamos estos conceptos. Let's learn these concepts. The upside down question mark is a punctuation mark that is standard in Spanish. That is proper Spanish punctuation. It allows a reader to know when the following statement is a question. For the exclamation mark, reveals that you should raise your voice or emphasize the phrase to express surprise, joy, or even desire. For the accent mark, it is about articulating the voice to highlight with the pronunciation, this distinction occurs through a greater intensity or thanks to a higher tone in your voice. Let's see. Question and accent mark. So we have cómo, cuántos, dónde. Give me your best guess for what is your name.
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
¿Cómo te llamas? But we also can say, ¿cuál es tu nombre? That's correct. So we have to use the question mark at the beginning.
Yes.
And at the end?
Yes.
Perfect. That's correct. So what is your name?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cuál es tu nombre? What about how are you doing?
¿Cómo estás?
Very good. Is there any other way to say how are you doing?
No.
Yeah, you can also say ¿cómo le va? What about how old are you?
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Yes, that's correct. What about where are you from? Or where were you born?
¿Dónde naciste?
Yeah. So where are you from is?
¿De dónde eres?
Yep, that's correct. Now on the right we have the exclamation marks. En la derecha tenemos los signos de admiración. What is al fin?
Finally?
Is it?
Yes.
Finally. Gracias por todo.
Thanks for everything.
Thanks for everything. When will you use this part? Gracias por todo. In what context? So you will say gracias por todo when you enjoy a time when something was pleasant to you. So you will say gracias por todo. It was very nice. What about me encanta tu actitud?
I love your attitude.
Perfect. I love your attitude. What about déjame en paz?
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Yes.
When do you use this word? When do you say to somebody déjame en paz?
When you want to be alone.
Good. What about qué gusto volver a verte?
It's so good to see you.
You can say it is good to see you. Or even pleasure to meet you again, because we have the word volver, which is again. So pleasure to meet you again. It is good to see you again. Let's go to the next slide. What about percentage? So 30 to 40% of all words in English have a related word in Spanish.